Okay, Abibu, carry on.
Yes, sir. In regard to what Maurice has just said,
Hmm.
that when we look at the higher education in the developing countries, in case of Nigeria, like in Africa, Nigeria, I think is the most populated country, also most populated black countries in the world. So it is like a has population of about 200 million people. Though also we are also colonized by British. We gained our independence. Nigeria got the independence in the 1st October 1960. I think so. When I think India got its independence, I think it's 3 years before Nigeria. I think 17 July or something like that. So and India and Nigeria has some similarities.
Yeah.
Like the India is also more like Nigeria is multicultural society with different ethnic group, culture, multi-religious society. And there are a lot of language diversity between North, South, and Central India. So despite that, Nigeria is also has some major religions, like three major religions, like Muslim, Christian, and in some other part there is traditionalists, which are the minorities. And in regards to language, Nigeria has almost the major dominant language are Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, sometimes Hausa Fulani, because they are living together, they are mixed, particularly in the northern part of the country, while Igbo and Yoruba are living in the southern part of the country.
Yeah.
So in regards to the since 1960, there was no major change in the curriculum, and that coupled with poor funding of education. Because I think in the last budget, Nigeria all just spent or proposed about 7% of its annual budget to education, which is very poor. According to UNESCO, I think suggested 25% of the country's budget
Yeah.
should go to the education. But we are battling from inadequate funding in education, which is a major setback in our curriculum and the other educational upgrading. So the issue of we're still using British curriculum, so and which is affecting us because you have to pass English, you have to learn English, you have to pass English. No, maybe particularly let me talk about my region, Hausa, northern part of the country. We have Hausa and the Fulani, but no serious or needed no school that is teaching particularly purely for Hausa and Fulani. So you have to learn in English, which is very difficult for many of us. That's why I think there is out of school children because you have to learn the language first, not like India. When you go to Tamil Nadu, most they are teaching and learning in Tamil.
Yeah.
When you go to maybe Delhi or other part of India, they are teaching in Urdu or something like that. So which they find it easier to learn. So we are still battling from this problem that there is no constant upgrade of curriculum.
Hmm.
Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Habibu. Yes, exactly what Maris also said, the same thing. You have elaborated the Nigeria because that's what we call the unit 2 of block 2. We talked about the similarities because all our countries have quite a few similarities and maybe quite a few dissimilarities. The similarity is like a colonial rule, whether it is a Britisher, whether it is a European, whosoever has ruled the countries. Actually, they exploited the situation while ruling to their advantage. To their advantage. Yeah, that's obvious, because okay, if they if they develop our own languages, your Hausa or Pulani, they feel threatened because they will become expertise in that. So they don't learn English. So, but they want that let the ruled classes of the under their rule learn English, teach English, and then communicate to them in English and serve for them in English. I think this is how the British said it. So naturally, but anyhow, you can't live in the past forever. You can't live in the past forever. You have to move forward. Any country has to move forward. Okay. Suppose in India, yes, we had that almost 200 years of ruling under British. So then we gradually came out. Now it is 75 years of independence we achieved. And there is a significant development in every sector, including education. School education, we have expanded. I think most of the provinces, they teach school education through mother tongue. That's what Abibu said. In Chennai, most of the schools, majority of the schools rather, teach at the school level in their own tongue, mother tongue, that's Tamil. So that's what he said. In my mother tongue, my province is Andhra Pradesh, and the public schools, particularly government schools, they teach to the mother tongue Telugu medium. So like that. So things are changing. So now the government is also emphasizing even higher education level, let the language, medium of instruction should be one's own mother tongue. But that I told that what are the challenges you have to face it. And when you want to teach higher education through Hausa or Pulani, you should have a teachers, faculty to teach, you should have resource material. So these are challenges. I think once the country's policy makers have to put effort in that direction, develop the resources, develop the other infrastructure, and then start. That's how one has to go. I think that's how. Let us move to the other units. If anybody has anything, otherwise I will shift to the next this thing. Can you see the slide?
Yeah, I want to just.
Is it visible? Is
Yeah,
it
it's
visible?
visible.
Yes, sir.
Visible. So
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, we can.
yeah, it is a
Yeah.
unit three of block 2. I think that's what higher education in the globalized world. Okay, we talked earlier the British ruling or colonial rulers and what are the disadvantages we face and what was the situation under the colonial rule and what is the situation now, whether it is Zambia, Nigeria, India. Things are changing. We are moving ahead. So this is what we said. I think now it's a reverse way. Under the colonial rule, we faced problems. Now the whole world is becoming a global village. It also has advantages. It also has disadvantages. So at that time, the colonial mighty powers came and occupied your territory. But now the situation is different. So they are not coming, but they are ruling from their own country. How? Because their economies are stronger, their technologies are stronger, their education institutions are stronger. That's what is the scenario in the globalized world. I think I hope I communicated my point. What we faced under the colonial rules by the different rulers and how we got independence, you and me and every country, and then from after independence how we traveled to develop our own education systems. After 70 years, after 80 years now, we are watching the whole world is becoming a globalized and one village. So what is this village? Is it for the advantage of for everybody, or is it advantage for those people who have a rich, who have a high technology? So these are the issues. In this unit, we will talk about it. Let us see that. Are you able to see the second slide? I shifted to the second slide. You are able to see that one structure?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes, sir. Structure.
Yes, it's visible.
If the slides are not moving, then tell me. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
What we are going to discuss in this unit is, of course, introduction, objectives. Yes, we'll do it. Higher education, particularly, of course, what I said in the initial remarks, the whole society, the whole world is becoming a global village, whether it is for advantage or disadvantage, we look at it. But in this unit, we'll talk higher education, changing perspectives in a globalized world. How the globalized world or the global village is changing the higher education. Yes, you cannot say it is not changing. The global issues, global economy is changing my higher education scenario. I think for your information, this new education policy I refer frequently. I'm referring India new education policy 2020. It is inviting the foreign universities to the country. So far, not many foreign universities have been invited by the government, but now under this policy, foreign institutions are invited to open their campuses. Actually, when the foreign institutions are coming and opening their institutions in my country, it has an impact on my existing institution. It has impact on economy. It has an impact on the students who want to join them. So there are a whole lot of issues are coming. The knowledge economy. So now in the competitive globalized world, it's how the what is economy and what is knowledge economy. We'll see that, and the global competition. Yes, earlier when the global scene has not come, my institution has to compete with your institution in the country. My institution has to compete with another university within the same country. But now your institution has to compete with another institution from another country. That is the thing. Now the global university, what is the global university? We'll talk about it. Transnational education, what is this transnational education or the cross-border education, and the role of universities, the shaping of global education, the global learning, ranking of Indian higher education, ranking of institutions of higher education. I think in the world, many agencies they rank the higher education institutions or universities in the world and say that your university is ranked as 100. My university is ranked as 150. Like the ranking is given based on certain parameters. We'll talk about that. Okay, friends. So these are the major issues we will discuss in this unit. Introduction. Today's world, university is not something specific to any kind. That's what it is. They say now in the present day society, contemporary society, university is not only meant for you, it is meant for everybody in the world. Modern university was the forerunners of industrial revolution, yes, and the industrial revolution came in the world. I think the modern university took birth. The post-modern university, the product of the knowledge revolution. One is the industrial revolution, followed by industrial revolution in the 60s and 70s. The knowledge revolution of late, last 2 decades or 3 decades, knowledge revolution that encompasses not just knowledge creation, but more importantly, knowledge transmission as well. The knowledge revolution has related to it is not only the creation of knowledge, how you disseminate, how you transmit. So this way, from industrial revolution to knowledge revolution, from knowledge revolution to knowledge transmission. New technologies, as we all said, we have been talking about this. New technologies impacted the process of production and distribution of goods, everything. This is the era of economic integration across geographical territories and regional divides. Yeah, the knowledge is technology is entering into every sphere of life, whether it is education, whether it is your industry, whether it is your business, whether it is your health. Everywhere the technology is changing the shape of the society. I think that's very important. I think suppose now we are meeting, we are discussing through these classes, or I am teaching and you are learning through this transmission, the PGDDE Diploma in Distance Program. It is possible only through the technology. Otherwise, I don't think that you will be able to see me. I will be able to see you and talk. Either you visit my country as a student, nor I come to your country as a teacher. Simply impossible. But for this technology, I hope you got the point what I wanted to communicate. Yeah, and then the objectives of this unit, once you complete this, a role played by the global economy in transforming education. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Explain the role of higher education in the globalized world. Yeah, higher education, what role it can play in the global scenario, globalized world. Analyze the pressure of higher education systems in developing countries in terms of content. Yeah, that's what we discussed. I think Marish talked, Ravidu talked, the right talk is that developing countries like yours and mine, in terms of contents and process, we have challenges and assess the impact of ICTs on the transformation of educational process. ICTs will change the course of direction of the educational system and the transformation of educational process as well. And then let us go into the details of the content. The knowledge economy, the World Development Report, 1999 says that the World Bank report. For countries in the vanguard of the world economy, the balance between knowledge and resources has shifted so far. I think that's where the balance between knowledge and the resources. Where there is a knowledge, there is a rich resources. Where there is no knowledge, there your resources are. So that's how the shift have. Paul Romer, Stanford economist, proposed that technology and the knowledge on which it is based should be also be considered an intrinsic economic system. Yes, I think it's happening. Economy and the knowledge and technology are going together, and the economic system, I think, is what is happening. And then the Romer believes knowledge is the unsung hero of the growth game. Yeah, if you are knowledgeable, you are moving ahead and winning the game. That's a growth. And my country is not knowledge. You do not have the knowledge. That knowledge is the economy. That's where when you have a knowledge, you have a power. That knowledge is power. Knowledge is strength. Knowledge is money. That's how it is called. Knowledge is the basic form of capital. Yes, earlier it is the money was the capital. Now not the money is the capital now. In the globalized world, when you want to survive, it is the knowledge. Murthy is knowledgeable or Habibu is knowledgeable. So naturally, that becomes the capital. Economic growth is driven by the accumulation of knowledge. It's not that how much money you have. Your money may be here today and tomorrow you may be losing your money. But how much knowledge you have, that's how the knowledge is the growth. Economic growth is driven by the accumulation of knowledge. This is what we have to see that. So knowledge is the money, knowledge is the resource. That's what we have to see that. Okay. Then the knowledge, technological developments come please. Technological developments create technical platforms for new innovations. Come. Technological developments create technical platform for new innovation. This technical form effect to the ultimately the strength lies in our country is how much knowledge you have created in different spheres, how much technologically advanced, and that how many technical platforms you have created, how many innovations you can bring in. All these things put together will determine your economic growth. I think that's where I hope you understand that. Yeah. Let me take a minute. I hope you are listening. Yeah. मेन कौन है?
रजनीश मिश्रा, सुशांत मिश्रा का ही मतलब मेन रजनीश सामने में
ये यूनिट के फर्स्ट कौन है
ये
इसमें? तो इस यूनिट में
यही है
दोनों
नहीं आपके लिए नहीं है।
हाँ, ये तो चलो उसमें दे देंगे। अगर ये उसमें ये है तो लेकिन उसमें शेयर करने के लिए लिखा है क्या वाला वाला साहब
कुछ है
वो पूछो निशा तो उनका भाई होगा उड़िया लगता है तो उससे पूछो मैं क्या करूँ इसमें दोनों है तो दोनों तुम्हें किससे पता चला दोनों यूनिट देख रहा होगा किसी बात सुन। Yes, friends, and then the global competition. I have explained what are the factors which contribute to the global, that is the knowledge. Knowledge is the power, knowledge is the money, technology, what type of technologically superior you are. And the global competition is, market is all about choice available to consumers, and those choices are always influenced by competition among producers. In the knowledge economy, it is the human capital that provides the, yeah, I think that's what we told. Market is the crux in the global competition, okay? And consumers will be the deciding factor. As a consumer, I will decide what to buy and what not to buy, which education institution I should go and which will not go. I think that's how we, in the knowledge economy, it is the human capital, the knowledge that provides the competitive advantage. That's what I told earlier, a minute back. If you have a strong knowledge systems and strong base of knowledge in different spheres, you are ahead of others. And that's your advantage in the competitive market. In other words, it's not the physical assets. I told you, it's not the money, but the intellectual capital of a company determines its value. How many knowledgeable faculty you have in our institution, not that how much money you have in our institution. You can say that I have almost 100 faculty from the different studied in different institutions of the world, and they are rich, they have publications. That speaks for the institution. Okay, company. The intellectual capital of a company like the Microsoft, in the way the value of the buildings and equipment it owns, that's where the intellectual capital matters. But the crux of it is how intellectually strong. What is the global university? The world has literally shrunk. Yeah, as I told you, what we call now, it's a global village. Earlier, you used to say that this continent, that continent. Now, I think now the continents, both the subcontinents also are shrinking. So it is a global village and a global university. World has literally shrunk, and as a different countries, we are more closer to each other than ever. Yes, we are becoming together. We are becoming nearer to one another. So that's why this example is this particular program which is offered to many countries in Africa and other. So that's where we are talking, we are sharing our experiences, we are sharing our challenges, we are sharing our issues. This is it. Higher education has developed in numerous ways since the last few decades. Yeah, that's what we discussed. Worldwide issues such as autonomy and accountability. Yes, is the institutions are autonomous? If the institutions are accountable, you are autonomous and you are accountable. The impact of technology, we already talked. The growing role of markets and privatization of higher education. Yeah, the role of markets dictating that how private. So as I said that in 2020 new education policy, the government of India has invited the best institutions across the world to come and open their campuses. Actually, that it doesn't. It means that it's the privatization of higher education. So in the privatization of higher education and a market economy, actually all the students may not be able to private education to get in the foreign institution. Actually, affordability and the situation will come. The role of research and teaching, yes, that's a challenging issue. I think what type of research you are undertaking in the universities, what type of teaching, is it a quality teaching, is the quality research, various efforts toward curriculum reform. Yes, this is what we discussed in the beginning of the class today. I think that it is Habibu Maris told, in might explain, the same old curriculum are following, the things are changing. If you are not changing our curriculum, if you don't bring the reforms in our curriculum, if you are teaching the same in curriculum, your students who will graduate from your institution will not able to cope with the global situation, grow with the global competition. That's as simple as that. And the massive expansion that has characterized higher education in the most countries, as I said that in Indian higher education scenario, I discussed in the first unit of Block 2, higher education in India, prospect and retrospect, prospect and prospect is what I talked about it. And during the we got the independence in 1947, there were 20 universities roughly, and then a few hundreds of colleges. Now, 70 years down the lane, our higher education has become expanded like in a large scale, and now we are almost the leading higher education network, one of the leading higher education networks in the world, who all played important roles in the development of higher education. I think that's where the yeah. What is the transnational education? Globalization of education is the outcome of several independent but interrelated developments. Globalization of education is the outcome of several independent and interrelated. That's what I said. Interrelated is the technology is developed, countries are meeting, people are talking, and the communications are developed, When the knowledge economy is grown, so we are in touch with others. So global education is outcome of sovereign, independent, but interrelated. Technology is interrelated. You have this technology, I have the technology, so we are able to teach and learn. So provision of distance education facilities was a significant step for the education students from the developing countries who are enrolled. Yeah, this is what transnational education, what we are doing is now a transnational education. As IGNO, we are offering the programs to many students of Zambia, Mauritius, Nigeria. So this is how the transnational education, developing the programs and enroll the students overseas without having to travel and stay in those. So you need not travel down to Delhi to IGNO. You are sitting there and learning. So this is what is the distance education facilities and transnational education process. Simultaneously, some universities also found it useful, perhaps more attractive to some other countries and set up. Yeah, this is what is the third point in the slide. So what I said is that the government of India has invited the best institutions in the world to come and open their institutions. Yes, they come and open, but is the all Indian students are affordable to enter into those institutions? A question mark. That depends on my capacity to afford that institution to my children or not. But when you have a translational education, actually I am offering the programs with the help of the government of your country and government of our country, not without your travel to this place, and then at the lesser cost, Yeah, that's where. Uh, and for the universities, it was a sure means of additional revenue generation. Yes, by doing this process of translational education, institution get some generation, revenue generation, get developing country students a more affordable means getting a good years is what is right. I think if your government asks that if this program is not there through the two governments collaboration, I don't think that you can afford or you can think of coming to IGNO India and then land this program. Not simply impossible. This is where the situation is. And the role of universities, yeah, the changing nature of the role of universities. Yeah, this is what I said. In the foreign institutions are coming and offering the establishing their campuses in the world, things are changed. Here also, then maybe in a very short time, many other best institutions come to India and open it. How that things will change, we are eagerly waiting to see that. The changing nature of the role of universities. People today are pushed much more closely together. That's what we thought, both in real time and virtual space. Naturally, I think we are meeting in real time and we are meeting in a virtual space. Yeah. The critical question is how can universities help shape the evolving landscape and indeed help shape the future? I think maybe by doing this transnational education, where you are learning and you are teaching, once you are graduated, naturally you will be contributing to the your own institution and your own country. So the overall this type of transnational education and universities plays a crucial role in changing the shape of the future of the society, your society and my society. This is what that's the role of universities, important thing. And then the global curriculum, yes, I think that's what we are talking. Whether we follow the same old curriculum which was the contributed by the colonial rulers, or we should go with the new curriculum. With the curriculum should be relevant. That's what we call. If the curriculum is relevant to what? Relevant to the society needs, relevant to the student needs, relevant to the market needs, relevant to the competitive spirit. So this is what the curriculum. The most critical aspect of the education system is prepare students for the globalized world. Now it is not only your own society, your own country, but your students who graduate from your institution go to the other world, go to the other country, the globalized world. So naturally, your curriculum should do that to suit that type of situation. You teach in such a way so they are become a graduates who can compete not only in our country, not only in my country, they should compete in the global stage. That's why. Higher education has to be no exception to the curriculum, according to the right, is the most important element of defines internationalization of higher education as a process of integrating international perspectives to the teaching learning. And this is what it is. I think Knight rightly said that. I think it has to see the quality, it has to see the international perspectives, and it has to do the research rigorous and various functions of the universities. And Master in Hauser notes that universities should redevelop and reform their curricula. This is what we have been talking in the beginning of the class as well. I think same old curriculum, stop it, change it, reform it. One major role of institution of higher education is to prepare students for global cities. Yeah, that's what we said. Your students in over Nigeria, your students in Mauritius, your students in Zambia should, once they are produced by your institution, they should face the world. They should be the global citizen. For that, it cannot be by telling me, okay, I'm producing a global citizen, but what type of curriculum you taught them, what type of methods you taught them, that will reflect them saying the words, enable them to have an understanding and appreciation of interdependence of people. So this is how the things are. Yeah. Open and distance education in this global scenario, it plays a very significant role. Open and distance education, open learning and distance education, these major instruments. Yeah, I think now earlier slide I talked about the instrument, innovation. What is innovation? A distance education is seen as an innovation by the renowned distance educators, renowned teachers said that this education is a instrument to bring a change in any society. I think at least in Indian country, I can say with confidence and authority, yes, it has brought a revolution within the society. Those students who could not enter into the regular classrooms because of the limited capacity intake of the institution, the distance education and e-learning has provided that those who missed the bus of the going to the university or a college can study while working itself, that the distance education has given a provision. I think e-learning has crossed the geographic limits. I think you are in Nigeria, you are in Mauritius, and I am here. We are connecting and we are teaching and learning. The internet has widely democratized the knowledge, linking people with the network. The internet has brought the revolution in connecting the people, not only in the education sector, even in these other sectors as well. And instead of, I think the open and distance education has resulted the mass education. I think mass product of the current economy, and this affects the higher education as well. I think instead of knowledge, information is the great. Instead of knowledge, information is the great mass product of the current economy. Every country is depending on the information, and this has affected the higher education as well. Commercialization of education, the spectrum of education, the web might create fundamentally to the international trade and governments agreement and etc. In the GATS general agreement of trades and services, consider public service such as healthcare and education as economic commodities. I think World Trade Agreement said that. I think in the GATS, that's what the general agreement and trade service. Public service such as health. Health is a public service, and education as economic commodity. Care and education as economic commodities, which is heading of GATS, and within its framework, higher education or education curricula per se, content, and we are yet to be considered economic commodities. I think GATS has said there is a debate on this whether education has become economic commodity or education is still a service to the society. The controversy or debate is going on. I think how we land it up, but at the same time, let the debate go on, but we should keep moving. Yeah. The global cooperation and competition, yeah, I think how the globe is competing with each other with the help of open education resources. You know that open education resources developed by the various best institutions in the country are accessible freely in the public platforms in various sources. I think that's what a country who cannot afford maybe develop a home resources of highest standards can rely on the OER's open education resources for their teaching learning. Global competition, that's what we said that. Privatization of education, I talked about it. Impact of privatization policies, yeah, that's what example I gave it to you in this country. So far, the government, there is a talk for a long time. We should involve the foreign universities in the country, but there is a resistance from various quarters. But this new education policy, NGP 2020, has given a signal, has opened the corridors of higher education is a private institution which will come again sooner than later, and what will be the impact. So it is a privatization, it is leading to privatization. And quality, and the various institutions come who will assure who will assess the quality, who will assess who will accredit these institutions, who should develop a mechanism. I think things will come in that fashion. And the emergence of private institutions. So no. थैंक यू वो एसईडी पहुंच गया क्यों हाँ चलता है वो चलता है वो महिलाओं को जब ज्यादा होते हैं ना जब महिला ज्यादा होते हैं हम चलो कोई बात नहीं अपना काम हो गया वो इम्पोर्टेंट बस all the course grades are loaded कोई बात जितना चलो मैं अभी बात करता हूँ थैंक यू सो मच वो असाइनमेंट कलेक्ट करा देना मेरे से ठीक है ठीक ठीक ओके थैंक यू education has become a mass and emergence of private institutions of higher education brings into sharp focus on quality is important. And any institution within your own institution in our country or private institution from other countries, quality is important. It's true that the issue of quality becomes a serious concern, not just because of many private universities, but because fundamental education has become a mass enterprise. When you are, suppose a distance education and e-learning, online learning, these are the going in a mass. So naturally, elite higher education to mass higher education, the casualty will be the quality. So when you are teaching as a good teacher in the 15, 20 members students in the class, you are the best teacher. But when you become the say best, when you teach 2,000 students through online, that is a challenge. You will take care of that. In most cases, national level statutory mechanisms will be laying down the norms for quality standards. Yes, there are many mechanisms are developed. Ultimately, these mechanisms are working properly so that we will retain the quality. I think that's the important thing. Let me stop the thing, and then we'll have a discussion before I go for the Yes, friends. So hope you followed the global scenario, what we are facing. Anybody wants to ask anything? And so far, what we discussed it. Do you agree with what I presented, or you have any clarification to see? Yeah. No clarification? Okay. So, So the things are changing. That's what is ultimately. I think maybe in our countries also, the foreign institutions are there, isn't it? Through distance education, okay. The Indian students are joining in through online education of the other country, other university, and through distance education program, somebody may take it. That's a distance education. But now the universities, foreign institutions coming and opening their campuses to teach face to face. The situation is that. Otherwise, through internet, you are learning, I am teaching. That's it. This is already going on. But IGNO coming and opening its campus in Nigeria, IGNO coming and opening campus in Zambia, IGNO coming and opening its campus in Mauritius. That's the difference now. Okay? You understand that. So that's where now the things are moving towards that. So my government is inviting the best institution. They will come and they will start their institute campuses in this soil. So what will be the quality, what will be the cost of education, who will be the faculty, all these are the issues. Okay? Anything else? Otherwise, let me move to the next unit. Okay. Can you see the slide? Can you see the
Not
slide?
yet, sir. Not
No,
yet.
sir.
Not yet.
No.
Not, not yet.
Yes, not yet.
Okay, let me. Oh, okay, let me see that. Okay. Okay. Share, and then now you can see that.
Yes.
Is it coming? Yeah. Has it come?
No,
No,
not
sir.
yet, sir.
Not yet. Okay. Okay. Something wrong. Let me see the. Okay. Now it's okay. Let's come back to sharing window. Share, share. Is it visible, friends? Hello?
Um,
Is it visible?
It
it
seems
is
like something is
visible.
opening up, but no, we can't see anything so far. It's just
Yeah, we
like
can only
white.
see white screen.
Pardon?
We can only see a blank screen.
Blank screen. Okay, okay. Not the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try. Stop sharing.
I think maybe you close it and restart again.
Okay, okay. Mhm. Let me try once. Let me see the runtime screen. Okay, okay. How is it now? Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it, sir.
Okay. Now, I hope all of you are seeing it. Okay. Colleagues, all of you are able to see that?
Yes, sir, we were able to see it.
Yes, sir. We're able to see it.
So far, in the last previous classes and today, we touched all the important things in the block 1 and block 2. The block 1 is management of education. The block 2 is the management of distance higher education. Now we are entering into the block 3. Now block 3 will be focusing on planning and management of distance education. The title of this block 3 is from macro thing, education total, to come down to higher education. From higher education we are coming down to distance education. That is the way we have progressed from block 1 to 2, 2 to 3. In this we talked about what are the issues involved in what is distance education, what are the theories behind it, what are the concepts behind it, what are the definitions of it, and what are the issues in planning, what are the issues in management. I think that's what we'll discuss about in this block. It's a very important one, not only from the examination system, but from the your understanding. Tomorrow, once you complete the PG diploma in distance education, you will be taking the second year, that's the masters in distance education. When you complete the masters in distance education, you should know, you have to claim that you are expert in distance education. How that expertise comes? By your understanding, by your gaining the knowledge through this course, okay, this particular block. So let me move to the in this block there are in this block we have 5 units. So you can see it on the titles of the 5 units in that. in this block. What are the 5 units is? The unit 1 talks about the understanding distance education. First of all, you as a student of distance education should understand what is distance education, how it is, how the origin came to distance education origin, where it started, how it is evolved, not only in India, across the globe, across the world. So this is where understanding distance education systems. And the distance education unit 2 talked about the what are the various methods and various practices involved in distance education system. I think we'll talk about that. What are the various methods available in distance education system? Yeah. And unit 3 talks about what are the various organization structures of higher education, higher distance education institution. I think we'll talk about that. Suppose we have the directorates of distance education or the dual mode institutions. We have the open universities, that have a different structure, and we have a consortia, a network of institutions that have. So we'll talk about all those different types of this. That's the unit 3. In the unit 4, management of education system, I think you are familiar with managing a college, conventional college. You are familiar with managing the conventional universities, because these are established colleges and universities. How the things are. A principal of a college manages the college under the direction of the board of governors of a college or the members of a college. And when a university has a vice chancellor as a CEO and various systems and subsystems who will take care of the university. When it comes to the distance education system, the management models are different, management processes are different. How it is different and how they are carried out, we'll talk about in the unit 4. And then what are the major issues that has to be considered in planning of distance education or in management of distance education is the crux of the unit 5 we talked about. So these are all the 5 units. Maybe I'll try to cover the important points of all these units. Let's go one by one. I think we'll talk about this unit 1 today. Yeah, unit 1, understanding distance education systems. And this we will talk introduction, objectives, apart, emergence of open learning and distance education. I think what is distance education? I think we'll talk about that. Resource-based learning, what is the resource-based learning consists of? And we'll talk about that. And technology-enhanced learning, how the technology-enhanced learning is used, and technology used for enhanced learning. Need for increased flexibility, whether you have a flexible systems in the present day. What is open learning? What is distance education? What is open learning? How the open learning is different to the topic of distance education, we'll talk about it. What is open and distance learning also, we'll talk about it. And then we have some more why distance education. I think why distance education, because you don't have the enough conventional regular institutions or colleges to take care of the demand for higher education. As is done is an alternative model is distance education to widen the access, to augment the educational provision. I think these are the issues we'll talk about in this unit. Yeah, the open university system, open university paradigm, how it early distance education initiatives, where it started, which one is the first open university in the world, what are the other major open universities, the role of open universities. This is these are all the major issues which we will be talking in this particular unit 1 of block 3. Let's go one after the other. Distance education discourse in recent times, I think in every country, I think particularly the developing countries, even including developed world, the issues are came. Is it distance education is needed or not needed? If it is needed, why it is needed? Simple tuition, postal tuition. The correspondence institution started the postal tuition. Through the help of the postal communication, there are the courses started. That's what we call the correspondence system. After that, the communication technologies like the emails, like communication technologies, like internet, came, that has changed the course of distance education. Started from the postal correspondence or through postal medium to the technology-based communication, distance education has transformed itself into. I think that's how the present technologist Taylor created has grouped these developments of the distance education into 5 generations. I think that we talk about it, and then learning takes place away. So naturally, the crux of the distance education is learning takes place away from the teacher. I think I'm here, you are there. So that's the best feature of the distance education. Enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of that learning. Variety of support systems. Yeah, I think you are there, I'm here, and through technology we are talking, we are learning. And the effectiveness of this depends on the what type of support systems we have. I think your country, that government would sponsor this program, and my institution, in collaboration with the government of India and the other such like regional center, Dehradun is supporting various things for work have been thrust into service. Concept of open learning that has emerged with the launch of the, I think open learning, distance education has taken a center stage of the world with the establishment of the first open university in the world, that is United Kingdom, UK Open University, UKOU. That was the turning point in the evolution of the history of the distance education in the world. And then, what are the objectives at the end of this unit is discuss as a potential distance education professional. Yeah, that's what I told you. When you become the master of, when you get the degree of masters in distance education, I think you will talk like a professional. And if you want to talk like a professional, actually you should have the clarity of all these issues between the different concepts, what are the different practices. Yes, that's what we'll discuss in this particular unit. Analyze the basic concepts and the theoretical and practical underpinnings that will help you in the planning and management of this education system. If you tomorrow you become the open university in our country as the vice chancellor, as the CEO of that, I think unless with this knowledge, if you have, you will be in a better position to plan, a better position to manage the distance education systems, institutions in our own country. Examine the specific objectives and purposes that distance education systems serve in different environments and contexts, and relate their design and development. This is what in the whole unit we will be covering. And explain yourself, some significant lessons that have experienced in the decades of growth of women learning disciplines across the world. Many institutions have many models to that. Whether the UK Open University, you can learn from them. At IGNO, you can learn from that. And Nigerian Open University, you can learn from their experience. Different institutions have given us a different perspectives and different experiences to you as a student to learn. Appreciate the broad perspective in which open universities have emerged as a wide, address the issues of access. That's what I said. Why the open universities, these education institutions are coming out to augment the educational provision to the larger sections of our society. Issue of access to education, I think, is the emergence of the distance education has come. Yeah, the emergence of open and distance learning after the Second World War. I think in the world, the Second World War has destroyed the economies, has destroyed the many resources. I think when after that war, when the country started rebuilding their economies and its education system, actually every country had to gather a lot of efforts, extraordinary efforts, to build their systems, to build their economic system, to build their industrial system, to build their educational system. Skills and competence to revive the industries, establish new ones, and to run them. Same is the case. Educational provisions, especially at the higher levels, needs to be expanded rapidly. The post-war, if post-Second World War scenario, education systems, if they want to build that, and they want to build those education systems rapidly because they lost so much of time in the war and that. So how those can be built rapidly is an important thing. So that's what in the rapid building the educational system, they looked at the distance education is one of the important important instrument. Higher education, that was essentially an elite pursuit. Yeah, that's what I said. Initially, higher education means it's elite. Those who can afford only can go to the university and college, not everybody. They turned into mass education. With the help of open and distance learning, the elite pursuit has come into the mass education. Everybody who aspire for education, higher education, can join the open and distance education institution. Government and other educational providers started looking for alternate methods that could accelerate the process of education, higher education. That's how many governments are looking forward for the distance education as a viable alternative. This is what is the crux of the thing. Yeah. The first distance teaching university, if you ask, distance teaching, if it goes to the University of South Africa, UNISA, established 1876. 1876, UNISA started the distance teaching university, UNISA, as an examining body. It was not a teaching body, as an examining body in Africa, African continent. This university started as an examining body for whom? For London University's external examination. London University from UK started offering the programs across the globe, including African continent. The students who join such programs, they have to appear in examination. Who will conduct that? So UNISA came forward that we will conduct exam. So it became a not as a teaching distance teaching institute, as an examining body. It came initially. In 1940, it was 1876. 1940, UNISA was authorized through legislation, start its own teaching programs. So they said that why not we teach? We are examining somebody else's. I think we should teach it. Teaching, we should teach the distance education programs with the help of a correspondence or a postal tuition. That's how the UNISA decided to go in 1946. And the UNISA and its correspondence tuition method became very popular in Africa. And UNISA continues to function with a merger of other distance education institutions in the country. There are various small institutions, all of them, 2, 3 institutions merged in the country, South Africa, and then offering the distance tuition under the brand UNISA. That's how, and it has become one of the mega universities in the world as well. So I think that's UNISA experience as the first distance teaching institute. After that, the former Soviet Union, I think you remember, United Soviet Socialist Republic, USSR. That's what you call it. They used to call that as Soviet Union. And China expanded their education and training programs lastly in 50s using correspondence tuition. Even the USSR started a correspondence tuition, supplemented with radio and TV broadcast. China have a large established China radio television industry, and the Shanghai Television Institute are the two world's largest institutions today. I think China has the radio and television universities, and the USSR before it was dismantled as a USSR, it started its teaching education programs in that country. I think most powerful impetus of distance education. Of course, all these were the efforts at the various levels in the country, world, but the turning point, as I said earlier, was the establishment of United Kingdom Open University in 1969. In quick section by the external. After that, many other open universities came in the world. But the first open university, if you ask, what one is the first open university in the world is the UK Open University in 1969. We remember earlier we were talking, particularly developing countries who cannot afford the opening the universities and colleges are only going for distance education. If that is the case, why the developed world like UK is the developed country? Why that has gone to the Open University of Distance Education nature? That was the very issue one can gets puzzled, gets created in our mind. Why it is so? The fixer, the reason for that is, I will talk to you. The UK, the very developed country at that point of time, under the Labour government was in power, and the Labour government, the Prime Minister was Harold Wilson. Harold Wilson, the UK Labour Prime Minister. What he said is country is changing, country is growing, and the knowledge is growing, and the technology is growing. And then, if that is the case, one second, let me. Yeah, slide is not visible, no? Okay, let me. Slide is not visible. Yeah. Uh, let me go back. Yeah. So we'll go to the presentation again. Yeah, I was telling that UK, the developed country, why it opted. So the Labour government Prime Minister, they have Harold Wilson said that countries, knowledge is changing. So the workforce who are already in service, the workforce in industry or the workforce in business or workforce in any sector, they got knowledge when they enter into the service. They got knowledge, they got a degree. But after working for some time, their knowledge becomes a bit obsolete, their skills becomes obsolete, their knowledge has to be updated, the skills have to be upgraded. Who will do that? Otherwise, you cannot ask the workforce, you go away because don't have the latest knowledge, you go home. No, you can't do that. That's why the government decided not only for the workforce who are already in the service sector, in the job sector, employment sector, needs a continuous updation of knowledge, continuous updation of the skill in the fast changing world technologies in the world, fast changing knowledge systems in the world. You got my point? That is the reason a developed country, it's not only for a developing country, this education is no escape. You have to go for it. For a developed country, UK went it because they wanted to be in the competitive market, ahead of in the competitive market. They want to upgrade the workforce so knowledge, workforce skills, workforce training. So you cannot ask all the workforce to come to the universities. I will teach you the new methods. No, it cannot. That is where the continuous or lifelong learning is essential. They said the university of this kind, open university of this kind, will give a scope. Now you are all working people. You have not left the job to do this course. Am I correct? Yeah. You are all the working people. You wanted to upgrade the knowledge, you want to upgrade the skill. That's how you joined this program. The same provision that the Labour Prime Minister said that the Labour government under the premiership of Harold Wilson said that we will open this university. While working itself, people should upgrade the knowledge, update the skills. That's how the UK Open University was established with a vision for the future. I think there was a lot of resistance by the educators and by the institution. Why you want to open a open university like this, and you want to dilute the quality of higher education? You want to distribute the degrees freely? There was a lot of criticism, but that visionary prime minister, I will go ahead, and he established the university. He went ahead. There was no looking back, in spite of criticism from within the various quarters within the society. But that became a turning point. That became a successful model. Many other open universities came later established on the model of UK Open University. That's an interesting point. Then you got a point what I said so far? Yeah, you are seeing it? The slide, friends? You can see the slide?
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. So this I have already touched. What is this resource list? Explain some significant lessons distilled. This I talked about. The emergence of open learning. This I talked. This UNISA, I talked about it. The former Soviet Union, I think I talked so far. Yeah, the establishment of Open University, this I was discussing. I hope now you got the clarity how this university was established. After this, we'll enter into the what is distance education. Yeah, it's not that as though distance education suddenly emerged in the middle of the 20th century. No, it all started around the time. That's what I said. 1840, the postal tuition initiative that came from the ISAC.
Excuse me, sir. Slide is not coming. Means it's not visible.
They said they are seeing it.
Learners, can you see slide? Is presentation visible?
No.
No, sir. No, sir.
Actually, no, sir.
No, because somebody said that you are seeing it. Okay, let me.
Sir, as I said earlier, please share through a window.
Yeah,
That way, there are three options. There are three options, sir. One is
window only.
a window, the middle one.
Yeah, I clicked that sharing.
Sir.
I clicked the sharing, and then I moved to the. Yeah. You are presenting your screen. Is it visible?
Sir, your PPT is not open, sir.
Not yet. I think I missed that one. Let
Just
me-
see whether your PPT is open or not.
One second. Yeah. Is it visible now?
Some white screen is coming, but PPT is not visible, sir. Are you on your PPT?
Yeah. I am on my PPT.
It is just looking white.
Okay.
Please check. First, keep the PPT open and then present a window. There are three options. Then in the middle one is a window. So click on that. Then choose the PPT.
Yeah, I opened the window and then the share. Yeah.
Then choose the PPT.
Yeah.
The PPT.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. It is coming. Yeah, it is coming now, sir.
Okay. Friends, you can see that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's visible.
I think now we have covered up to. Let me move. Yeah. I think we are at this slide. Yeah. What is distance education? Is it slide visible? What is distance education? Friends, the slide title, what is distance education, is visible to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
I
sir.
talked about UNISA's effort in 1840, and around the same time, Isaac Whitman started offering the shorthand courses. I don't know how many of you are aware. Shorthand courses, that is a skill-based course. When you are speaking, when you are giving a dictation, the shorthand, if I learned a shorthand, I used to write in a sign language. That's what is the shorthand course. I think that Whitman started using the postal services 1937. The Isaac Whitman started offering the courses to the different parts of the world, within USA and other parts of the world as well. I think that became he's a shorthand. He's not an educationist like you and me. But when he offered his course, the educators like you and me said, how come he is doing that? Why can't we do this experiment? Using the postal tuition, teaching the program to the students who are away from you, who are away from your institution. That's how the Isaac Whitman's experiment attracted the many educators. University of London made a radical departure from the convention that it decided. The London University, after that, based on this experiences of Soviet Union, USSR experiment, China's correspondence courses, University of London was a very reputed university in the UK. They said, why can't we offer the external programs to various other countries with students in various other countries? They also started. Take its examinations. That's how the UNISA became the examination center for the students who are enrolling in University of London programs in Africa. I think this is the turning point from the delinking the self-study became the important issue in this time. The students who have joined the University of London and they have to study on their own. And University of London did not offer much support like what I am doing to you. This is the tutorial support. They are not given that. Enrolling in the university program, London University program, and the students are left to themselves to study from various sources. That's where the challenge. But several private institutes stepped in to fill the gap and offered. I think when institution concerned is not offering, actually the students went to the different private institution to get the support for the London University program. So this is how the experimental started in the one. And then during the 20th century, pressure began to build. That's what I told you. The government started feeling the pressure to open the number of colleges, to open the number of universities, to expand the higher education system to large numbers. But where from? We don't have the resources. Distance education is not just a one single method of teaching learning. Distance education institutions a variety of purposes ranging from it's not only the augmentation of educational provision for the adults. This is what I said. It's not only for a student. Distance education is catered to the adults and working population. That's what I told. UK Open University aimed at those people who are already in service, how to increase their knowledge, how to upgrade their knowledge, how to upgrade their skills. Expansion of provision for professional technical vocational education and different industries and private sector economy. They all wanted that their employees need to be upgraded their knowledge, the employees need to be upgraded their skills. So they cannot ask them to leave the employment to the institutions. That's why this, while working, you can enroll the distance education programs and then we offer. Meeting the needs of the training of teachers, I think another important feature. Distance education and training of techno-managerial personnel. At the core of distance education is characterized by the following features. What are the core features of the distance education? The learner and the teacher are separated. You and me are not at the same place. We are in different place and they are different place. Even the time is not the same. You have a different time zone. I am in a different time zone, but still we are doing teaching learning. Teaching learning transaction has to be facilitated with some degree of interaction through appropriate mediation. It's not only just you have joined, but what should be the academic transaction, teaching learning transaction between you, and that's how this tutorial is one of the things. Tomorrow you will be submitting the assignment. That's another mode of interaction between you and me. Comprehensiveness of the learning experience. I think the learning outcomes, learning experience, and learning outcomes. What you learned, I taught something. But what did you learn? That is the learning outcomes has to be seen. I think that's where the since most of distance learners happen to be mature, yeah, you are all working adults. You have different learning styles, and various. So naturally, for me as a teacher, when I face a matured adult group with a different features and different learning styles, how I teach, taking care of all of those different learning styles. That's what we call the heterogeneity of the distance learning community. Learners are heterogeneous. The classroom, it is a homogeneous group. All my 20 students in the class are same age group, more or less same wavelengths, knowledge length. But here you have a groups age-wise. You are not at the uniform. There are the adults. There may be 30 years. There may be 40 years. There may be 50 years. Different age groups, different learning styles, and different. So this is a challenge in the distance education system. And then, what is the resource-based learning? Resource-based learning involves the use of instructional design resources for the community curriculum between different learning to the variety. Yeah, this is what resource-based learning is. Instructionally designed resources. Suppose if you ask me, you have PG diploma in distance education program, what are the resources? Have you designed it properly? You can ask me. Have you developed a curriculum between what the teachers and learners through variety of different media? I have to design this. This program was designed for Indian students. Actually, I used to send a developed material, a printed material. I used to send it, and I used to ask those students to join the face-to-face counseling sessions with respect to learning centers attached to them. But in case of yours, I'm not sending the printed material, but I'm sending the soft copy of the material through the LMS platform. So these are the issues. When I design a program, actually I have to take care of all this. Okay, once I have given the material, is it enough? No. There should be an interaction. What is the interaction? In the Indian students, they go to the learning center, respective learning center, but here we have created a platform, we have created this technology, and we are trying to contact between you and me. We are interacting. This is what is the design factor in the teaching learning system one has to, and using different media. In case of Indian students, we use the print material, we use the face-to-face sessions in the learning, we use the social media, we use the Facebook, we use the audio video programs. So the different media is used. So this is where the different, and they design all this media has to be designed properly. The major objectives behind the drive towards resource-based learning. Why the resource-based learning? Breaking down the traditional notion of teaching is the most effective strategy. Earlier, all these years, we see that only the teaching can take place in the classroom in front of a good teacher, but that's not the case. I think that if the society is changing, demands are changing, the technologies are changing, then actually curriculum has to be designed with it. That's how the resource-based learning is coming to the picture. Directing a significantly large proportion of total expenditure to the design and development of high-quality service, building on pursuing the quality of education provision. I think large proportion of total expenditure to the design and development of major expenditure of the resource-based learning is developing the quality material. If you ask me, IGNO has got the name and fame not only in the country, even in the beyond the country in other countries, because of the quality of the material we develop for various programs. I think first initial 2 decades of IGNO, we developed a good quality material that gave a name. And to maintain that quality, you have to put the same effort throughout. That's what we have been doing it. High quality resources as a strategy for building and assuring the quality of education provided. So naturally, if you ask me that, if your IGNO material is not quality, why should you learn us? Why should you join our program? This is the issue. That's where the resource-based learning. Implementing strategies to shift the role of the teacher from simply talking in classes to stimulating engagement. This is the challenge in the resource-based learning. Classroom teacher keeps talking, teaching, and teaching. But in the resource-based learning, it's not only the teacher teaches, it is the how you interact, how you engage the student. I think that's the challenge in the distance education and resource-based learning. Distance education and distance, how you. So naturally, we are both are interacting. You as a learner and me as a teacher, we are interacting through this. And then this is how the I'm asking you to respond to me. I'm asking you to respond to relate what I'm teaching to your own situation. This is how the engagement of the student and interacting between the student and teachers. That's what I'm doing. Investigating the potential that the integration of new yes, with the help of new technologies only, we are able to do this program. Teaching and learning in class for supporting, improving, and enhancing this. I think the sky is the limit. I think we have a number of technologies available, but what technology can affordable, what technology is affordable by your students, actually your design factor depends on the availability, accessibility, and cost factor of these technologies. Technology enhanced learning, I think that's what is the use of technology and how you are enhancing learning. Need for an increased flexibility. Here, this is what. Suppose you are opening a distance education system, you are opening an open university and telling that only the 25 years old should join means it's not flexible. Those who are working should not join is the flexibility. No, you are making a rigidity. And the conventional colleges or universities with a 50 years old, I don't think you will go and get admission. Whether I will go and get admission, no, there's a rigidity. And distance education system with the flexibility, there is no age bar, there is no qualification restriction. So this is where the flexibility in the resource-based learning and distance education system. And what is open learning? What is open learning? What's open learning is distance education is a mode of education. I am teaching to you at a distance. That's a mode. By using various technologies, by using various methods. And then with the help of flexibility, that's where you see that distance education, I am teaching you at a distance, that's a mode of education with the help of flexibility, with the help of a technology. Then what is open learning is a philosophy. Open learning is a philosophy. That philosophy is that you can teach students from anywhere, you can teach the students, there is no rigidity. That's what the open learning and distance learning is, that by distance mode, I am using the flexible, the features of open learning or open philosophy to impart education to distance mode. I think that's between open learning or open education is a philosophy, and distance education is a method of education, mode of education. So by clubbing this open philosophy and distance mode, what we are teaching as a open and distance learning. Okay, I hope you got that. Yeah. Why distance education in the any country or in any issue? Why? I have already talked about it. Widening the access. Suppose in our country you have 2 or 3 universities, but how many people can be enrolled in the 2, 3 institutions? Very limited. But what other aspirants of higher education, where they will go? They have to go to the other institution in other countries. That cannot be affordable. That's why if you want to widen the access for higher education within our country, the alternative is distance education is only. Augmentation of provision for educational training. That's what further training, I said it, enhancement, continuous education, lifelong learning, all those things we want to educate, create a provision for that is distance education. Changing labor market, and you see our market is changing. New requirements are emerging, and the new workforce have to be trained. Who will do that? So that's where I say distance education. I think providing short courses or certificate programs to the workforce who are in need, and according to the employer needs, according to the employees' needs, we design a program, and that's what they expect from the distance education system. Economic competitiveness, we have already talked in the previous unit also. Globalization, or what type of impact it is making on higher education. I think that's where all these issues, lessons for planners here. You can derive the experiences of the UK Open Universities, you can derive the experiences of IGNO. So these are various experiences which are already available. I think we can make it. All these factors demand in any country the why we should go for distance education system. And then early distance education initiatives. Distance education was a significant use of training and skills for developing the competitive competencies of the workforce. This is what I already referred. With this distance education, the open university paradigm has came to develop the UK. I said in the context of UK, United Kingdom, the government wanted their workforce to be upgraded in the knowledge and skills, and they saw that distance education is going to be viable alternative. And the middle of 20th century, several universities came across the world. I think after the establishment of the UK Open University in 1969, many countries came forward, identified the UK Open University strengths, and then the requirement of such type of university in every country. There are many countries came forward and started. I think whether it was a different university, including IGNO. IGNO came established in the year 1985, much after 15 years after the UK Open University was established. Most universities in the former Soviet Union were offering correspondence. This is what I told. USSR, many institutions are offering the correspondence tuition courses in several subjects like science and technology and other fields, farmer factories, and I think the Soviet Union, the United Soviet Socialist Republic, was a big union at that time, so they started offering the correspondence courses to the various sectors, not only the education sector. And then, of course, I have already talked to you about the People's Republic of China. It's a big country. Many universities were offering correspondence tuition in the years 50s. A large number of people, I think 80 to 100 or so regular higher education institutions, China, correspondence institutions they established. The success of the correspondence education in the Soviet Union and China during the post-war, this is I referred earlier, the post-war Second World War reconstruction of the many countries like the Soviet Union and China, many countries attracted towards the distance education method. Yeah. The first open university in the world, if you ask that, which was that? That's the United Kingdom Open University in the 1969 with the first open university. Tomorrow, if a question assignment also is there, which was the first open university in the world, then you have to talk about the Open University, beginning the second generation education initiatives. Correspondence education relied almost exclusively on printed materials and postal tuition. First generation of the distance education, if you ask, it's basically a printed material sent through the postal by post. That's what is the correspondence education generation 1. Generation 2, second generation, is the distance education initiative, namely open universities and other communication channel. It is the print material and other support services, other technologies used. That's what it is, like radio, television, audio, video technologies, support interaction between learners and teachers. Is the second. First generation is purely correspondence education without much the support, additional support to the learner. But second generation open universities came with the not only the material and other technologies and other support is available because you and me are interacting. It's a support. That's where the open university. Higher education needs of the adult learners were the major aim of it. This is what I told. In the mission statement of the Open University, it's written that when the Prime Minister then, who was aiming for this university, was questioned, was criticized, why you want this, he said, no, my mandate for this mission statement is that this university should open the adult learners who are working to upgrade their knowledge. It was a very good statement, very good initiative that came into the open to the people, playing a leading role in the transition of mass higher education. I think that's why if you want to serve the large number of students of higher education, I think your classroom-based college or education, higher education universities will not help. Open to place and contributing to the widening of education opportunities, courses available, European Union more widely in the world, service available throughout the European Union. I think the UKOE courses were offered to the many countries in the European Union. I think that's where the another important thing. And then open as to methods using the different technologies, I think techniques, thorough home and work-based students, yeah. Open as to ideas, vibrant academic community, dedicated expansion, refinement. This is all the flexibility, innovativeness, and the use of technologies in the distance education system is the hallmark. Yeah. Okay, UKOE we talked about, IGNO, I talked a bit from here and there. And what are the other major open universities in the world? After the establishment of UK Open University, the Korean National Open University was established a little later. Korean Open National University, South Korea was established Open University. It's a very good university. After that, the Allama Iqbal Open University in Pakistan, it was established in 1974, providing for, I think, education upliftment of masses was their mandate. After that, the Venezuela in 1977, the Open University was established, and then Sukhothai Thammathirat Open University, STOU Stau. In Thailand was established in 1978, and providing a lifelong education its mandate. And after that, it's Anadolu University in Turkey, established in 1958, and authorized in 1982 by law to launch open education programs. This is how the other major universities in the world established after the this after this. Other major universities. Yeah. Other major universities. The Open Universities Netherlands was established by the government of in 1984. It's only the government-funded institution in the Netherlands. In 1985, the government of India established Indira Gandhi National Open University by the Act of Parliament, and the Ministry of Culture and Higher Education In Iran, set up a Taimur Noor University in Iran. University of South Africa plays a special place. It was not established as an open university in the sense initially it was not an open university, but later they switched over and yet it is the oldest distance teaching institution in the world. Yeah, it was founded in 87. The examining body, that's what I tell, Oxford and London University. In 1946, it was given a new role as a distance teaching university and continued that role since then. In 2004, there are three different institutions: Technikon, South Africa, merged with UNISA, and also UCAB Distance Education Common at Star University to become bigger. I think this is how what are the yeah. Friends, I think I touched upon what is the distance education, how the various institutions came into existence, Open University, and what are the yeah. Okay, I think that's where we traveled now today. Yes, friends. Any question or any clarification to see? No, no. We listened a good story told by Professor Murthy. A good story. Is it a good story? Yeah.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, Matthews.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Was making observation on the major universities in the world,
Hmm.
but on the rest have only seen South Africa in Africa, I think, which is making some achievements in the open universities, like in the entire continent. Now, my question there might be, why is it that Africa as a continent is lagging behind as far as open universities are concerned? Why Africa?
Usman is laughing. He will answer you. Usman, you want to answer Matthews' question? Okay. It's not only Africa is lagging behind. Yeah, I think first Open University came in. Hello, hello, hello. First Open University was in a developed country like UK in 1916. After that, other countries followed it. Even IGNO implementation 1955. So that's how. African countries, I can see that though the national Nigeria Open University came in much before. It came. In fact, there was a from the democratic government to some shift in the dictatorial government, so the university was stopped. So you will read this history of Nigeria. There is a case when we shifted to the block 4. I will explain that. So it was there. Nigerian Open University was established. After that, the Zimbabwe, they have the small Open University, and Tanzania, they have Open University. Only thing is, they have not spread it fast and attracted the students from other African countries. That much we think. So why it is so? Because the social, economic, cultural, political reasons. So distance education systems have taken a faster route where the society is accepting that, where the political powers are making it. Suppose UK Open University, when I said that is a developed country. UK is a developed country. The Labour government, when the Prime Minister, Labour Party Prime Minister Harold Wilson, he determined there's a political will. There was a lot of criticism on him. Why you want to start an open university and dilute the quality of higher education? But he said nothing to it. So that's where the political will, social acceptability, economic support, political willingness, then only the open universities can come. So in India, the first open university in India was not the IGNO, Indira Gandhi Open University. It was not first. In fact, it was a provincial open university, 1982. It was established in the one of the provinces that was where I belong, that's Andhra Pradesh. Because the political ruling class decided and determined the need of it so went ahead with. So these are the various factors for the establishment of a distance education. Hello, क्लास चल रहा है 5 मिनट में करता हूँ ठीक है. That's how it becomes. So various reasons why. I hope Matthews accept my logic why it's not only that. Even Asian countries, even a developed countries like the Gulf countries, where the oil-rich countries, many countries are not ahead of open university. In fact, the IGNO is popular in African countries where the Commonwealth of Learning sponsored the thing. So that's how we visited. That's what I was telling. The Nigeria visited, Ethiopia we visited, because we students enrolled in the late 90s and early 2000. So the students studied. So this is how the efforts. So this is the various factors work in the establishment of, even only the various factors work in the establishment of opening. In the conventional institute, in Africa, maybe some countries have a good higher education institution. Not all the countries have. Am I correct in stating, Matthews?
Yeah, actually, in a very special way, I would like to thank the government of India. I think for coming up with the Indira Gandhi, this Open National University. And again, to some large extent, we have to blame, I think, these first world countries, our colonial masters. I think they did some some harm to our countries. Yeah, so thanks India, I think, for that initiative. Otherwise, maybe now we will see a lot of universities being opened in Africa. So thank you very much. Yeah, sure.
That's it. Various factors. What? Particularly establishing the regular universities and regular colleges for higher education is a very capital intensive. You need buildings, you need experts, you need the hostels, you need laboratory. The government cannot, maybe they may, in Nigeria or in a small country, Zambia or a Ghana, they may establish 1 or 2 universities, not hundreds. To open 100 universities, you need a lot of resources, money. The country doesn't have that, they cannot afford. That's why the distance education, if you open it, which can cater to the large numbers, is seen as a viable. That's what I explained so far. Okay, friends, to any other question? Hope you really liked it, the relevant ones. So naturally, tomorrow when you complete a MA in distance education, you can post a question to your government. Anyhow, why don't you open an open university if you cannot open hundreds of private regular universities or colleges? So this is how the logic, this is how the need, this is how to pursue the governments. Okay, I think let me stop it here. Maybe we'll be meeting in the next class on 27th. Yeah, 27th. I have a class. I will do that.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Moses. I thought, where are you?
Sorry, sir. Please, sir, can you check the chat? I sent a question there on the chat.
Okay.
I sent a question there. Yes,
let
sir.
me see. Is there any private open university? Yeah, not many, but in India, we have one private university, but that has not succeeded. That has followed some wrong practices, so naturally government put a ban. But in other countries, whatever I said, that it is the UK Open University, it is STOW, Thailand, it is a Korean Open Universities, Allama Iqbal, IGNO, all these are public funded institutions, not a private open university. The people are coming to open the open universities, but maybe that the learners will see that is the private open university is good or the public funded open university is good. They will weigh the quality. They will see that the private open university, if it comes, they will not charge the same fees like what I am charging. They need more money. I think that's what. They need more money. So naturally, if you want to join between me and a private university, open university charging higher, you will see that. I think let me go to the IGNO. So this is how the comparison comes. Yeah, Angela, thank you. Thank you for your comment, Angela. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. There's a cyclone coming to Mauritius, so that's why
Oh,
sometimes the connection was not good. I could not respond.
yeah.
But I wanted to say that commenting on what we were talking a few seconds ago, that
Yeah.
IGNU is the one university I know which is the most popular. I know there's Open University, but IGNU is the one that is like reachable, more reachable to
Yeah. That,
the global south.
yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's doing a kind of a divine job as well, giving education and helping people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's we are very thankful
Yeah.
to IGNU as well.
Thank you, Angela. You are correct. I think if the profit is the motive for IGNO, we need to charge more fees, like that of a UK Open University's fees higher than us. And
Yes.
even Australian Open University, there are Australia dual mode institute, they charge more. So naturally, for our motive is not the fee only. Let the spread of education to those who are in need. That's how the lesser fees and this. But if you profit is the motive, that will go in a different direction. I think
Yeah.
take care of cyclone. Hope things will normalize soon, Angela.
Yeah, I mean, the weather is quite bad, so that's why the connection was not good
Yes, I
today.
could see that why she was not around. I got a little so that
Yeah.
you got it. Yes, friends. What I feel is a homework for this class is I have explained the distance education systems. I have explained the various methods, various practices, technologies used in that. By briefly listing these things, listing these main points, and try to relate it whether you have an institution of this kind in your own country, whether it is the distance education university or a correspondence institution or an open university. Try to relate it and what I explained and what is the situation in our country and where that institution stands. Is it okay? Is it
Yeah.
okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I think Mauritius, we have a institutions of distance education also. I can
Yes, Open University.
yes,
Yeah.
Open University is there.
And this is the institution that is helping as well many students that I know. Yeah.
So you try to compare the things, what major points listed, discussed today, and what the institutions we have, and what are the comparable things, what are the differences. I think that. I think if you follow that, if you prepare that, we'll discuss that in the next class. I think let me call it a day. Have a good evening or a good afternoon or a good night. So thank you very much. Enjoy. God bless you. See you in the next class.
Thank you. Same to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Yeah.
I couldn't join earlier. I was very busy at work, and when I
Yeah,
tried to
Michael,
log into, I was
you, you
kept.
are you are busy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to cope with it. With it.
Yeah, you have to go through the soft copy of the material available on LMS so that you will cope it, and then if you have issues you can raise in the subsequent classes. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Michael. Where are
Thank
you
you very
from?
much.
Michael, you are from which?
Ghana. I'm
Guyana.
from Ghana. Yeah.
Ghana, Accra. Ghana.
Yeah, Accra.
Yeah, I visited 2-3 times Accra, Michael.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I had to travel to Liberia, so it is through Ghana, via Ghana.
Yeah, okay.
I took a flight and I stayed there in Ghana. Yeah, this is a good country, beautiful country.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Let's meet at the next class. Thank you very much.
Yeah. That's all. Thank you all. See you in the next class. See you in the next class. Yeah. Correct. Sorry. Yeah,